Hi, welcome back to another video, and this time out we're looking at Assetto Corsa's top 5 road cars. So you may have seen the video I did recently where I looked at the top 5 race cars in Assetto Corsa, and for the record this is the console version of Assetto Corsa, so it's effectively just base content plus the DLC, no mods or anything like that. I don't yet have the ability to look at mods because I'm console based currently. So what you're looking at now is not one of my top 5, it's one of the honourable mentions, which is a Lotus Elise SC. So for the rest of them, I basically took every road car in the game out for a drive around the Scottish Highlands and also Brands Hatch. And this allowed me to whittle down my top 5. So let's run through these in no particular order at all, starting with the Porsche Cayman GT4. So the Cayman GT4, why pick this one out of all of the Porsches that are in Assetto Corsa? Well, for me, much as I love 911s, and there's a whole host of them in AC that I could have picked, the Cayman GT4 just has this wonderful balance, and it's at home on a track and on a kind of fast road environment equally. It is wonderfully balanced. It's very controllable, but it's still very tactile. It doesn't feel like you're being controlled or it's contrived in any way. The fact that it's still got a 6-speed manual adds to the enjoyment massively, and it's just one of those cars I can pick up in AC and drive pretty much wherever I want, but it really does suit the Scottish Highlands location as well. So that's my first pick, the Porsche Cayman GT4. Next up we have the Ferrari 458 Italia, and well, being perfectly honest, this was an easy choice in comparison to the 488 GTB and to a large degree any of the other Ferraris in Assetto Corsa. The reason why I like the 458 is it's that perfect balance for me between the older Ferrari lunacy and that almost knife edge control, particularly when you whack the traction control off, and where, I mean, just as a comparison, the 488 for me, it's a far faster car than the 458. It's an easier car to drive, even with TC switched off. It's much more stable under braking, it's much more progressive under acceleration, and it's just an absolute beast. But it's that's missing from it, that's in the 458 Italia, that really does just work for me. The 458 isn't as easy to drive. It doesn't matter that it isn't as quick, but under braking it's squirrely, but it never feels like it's fighting against you, but only just. And that for me is the reason why I love the 458. It's great on track, just drop the tyre PSIs by 4 all round, take it out on road as it is completely stock, whack the traction control off, and it's just an absolute joy to drive quickly. It really is. And it will fight you, it will make you pay attention to what you're doing, but that's part of why I really like the 458 Italia. So there we go. What's up next? The R34 GTR Skyline from Nissan. I'm not sure whether this car or the next car really does betray the fact that I still have a massive soft spot for Gran Turismo, which I don't care about in any way, shape or form. I do, despite its faults. It's a title I've grown with massively over the years, and the R34 sums that title up for me in a lot of ways, but that's not the reason why I picked it. The reason I picked it is because it is quite frankly still just an awesome car, a ridiculously good car to drive. The engine is an absolute masterpiece. It's got a big turbo on there, but very little turbo lag. The fact that it revs out to 8k and just sounds wonderful when it's doing it. The fact that, yes, it is four-wheel drive, but it never feels like it's smothering you. Just everything about it is just absolutely magnificent. And I just deeply enjoy driving it, and then there's just everything the car stands for, the good and the bad. It's just a great fun car to drive, and I make no bones about that. So yeah, there we go. The Nissan Skyline R34 GTR, or whatever way you want to put those words around, really doesn't matter. This one's purple and it's mad. The Toyota AE86, and this is the tuned variant of it. I went for the tuned variant because it's got a little bit of extra poke and a little bit of extra grip that the stock version lacks, that it really does need. It's the automotive equivalent of basically trying to drive a very eager terrier, so a Jack Russell gone mad, quite frankly. It makes a lot of noise, it runs around an awful lot, it's very, 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 very bouncy, and most of the time you can keep it in check, but occasionally it will turn around and snap at you, and when it does, you want to get your fingers out of the way very quickly. It thinks it can beat everything else. It really can't, but it will impress you massively with what it's actually capable of. And yeah, the car's a legend for a good reason. Keep in mind that race variants of it won the British Touring Car Championship, and it's still heavily used in rallying, tarmac rallying. It was massively popular to the degree that it's almost impossible to buy a road car version in the UK, because almost all of them got shipped over to Ireland, where they were turned into rally cars. So it says quite a bit about the car itself that was what happened to the vast majority of the road car versions in the UK. So it's legendary for a reason, and it's just daft fun to drive, quite frankly. So there we go. On to my final pick. Finally, we've got the BMW M3 E30. So yeah, it's another car with a manual gearbox, as in a stick shift, and once again a car that likes to rev heavily. So I might have a type, being perfectly honest. It's also an older car, so I definitely have a type, let's be honest about it. There's a lot to love about the E30 M3, not just, again, its heritage. This is a car that started a massive lineage of M cars, but it's got such a wonderful delicacy of touch, and it's really communicative through the steering, which Kunos have done an excellent job of translating in Assetto Corsa, and it really just does drive so well. Again, it's one of those cars that's a pleasure to pick up. Pick a track, pick a location, just take it out and drive constantly. You don't have to drive quickly, you don't have to drive aggressively, but you can do, and it responds to absolutely everything. And it's a very lightly sprung car by modern standards, and that actually helps. So you can feel it much more progressively when the rear steps out. It makes it easier to catch, it makes it easier to hold largish slides as well. So it's just a great car that talks to you and just wants to be driven and encourages you to pick it up and drive it. So yeah, that's my final pick, the BMW M3 E30. So just to finish off, two more honourable mentions, the McLaren 570S and the Pagani Huayra BC. I think I pronounced that. No, I probably pronounced that completely wrong, but you know the one I mean. So yeah, rounding up, those are my top 5 in no particular order road cars in the console version of Assetto Corsa and its DLC. Let me know what your 5 are. Let me know if you agree with any of the 5 I've picked, you disagree, you've got ones that you would have put in there instead. Drop them down in the comments below and let me know your thoughts on them. So yeah, just rounding up, thanks very much for watching, and if you've enjoyed this, please do hit the like button, and if you want to see more content like this, subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon to be notified when new content gets put online. Thanks very much. Bye.